where my buttons are. They're in there. They're in the dark, you see. In the dark. Tripod legs. Right, there we go. Get you straight. All straight, yep, you straight. Wobbly bobs. That's about right, isn't it? That's about right. Let me see what we can see. We'll go for scenario 2 as I've listed. We shall see. Ah, yes, yes. Okay. Get my mouse back. Yeah. Slideshow, I believe. Officer trustee interaction scenario 2. Test for Sunday. Alright, here we go. Scenario. In this scenario, we show a possible interaction between private individual and officer trustee. During stop and search, an officer or officers may ask the following questions. Come on, let me get you tweaked up just so we get... What is your name? What is your address? What is your date of birth? Where are you going? Are you carrying anything upon your person, i.e. prohibited substances or drugs? There are certain situations where you can be stopped and searched without reasonable grounds. Take note. The search must be approved by a senior officer before it can transpire. Take note. Oh, it does show. Okay. A senior police officer may grant a search if he or she suspects any of the following or the below. A serious violent crime could have taken place. You have been suspected of carrying a weapon or may have used one. You are in a specific area or location of interest at the wrong time. You are suspected to be carrying a controlled substance, e.e. drugs. Being stopped by the police. You are being stopped without reasonable grounds. Or, you should be informed why you have been stopped without reasonable grounds. The officer will ask you for your name, date of birth, address, and postcode, etc. They may ask where you are going, why you are going there, the usual who, what, why, where, and when. Okay, thank you for crashing on me, everybody. Not you, systems and processes. They might ask if you are carrying anything on your person. They may inform you they are going to conduct a search of your person. During the search, they find a controlled substance. The officer constable then informs you of your rights, reads you your rights. They inform you you are being arrested, detained, and taken for an interview under suspicion of committing a crime. They will take you to the station to be booked in, where they relieve you of your property and anything you could use to harm yourself. Then they will hold you in a cell until your interview. They have 24 hours in which to conduct this interview and lay a charge before you are required to be released without charge or released pending inquiries on bail, where you may have to report to the police station periodically. We will now demonstrate how to represent with no liability to your person. The officer will ask you for your name, identity, a calling, as we call it in the private, yes? We only give our first given or Christian name. We do not claim the surname or the associated liability with that namesake. We have a family, tribe or estate, not a surname within our private capacity. Okay? We don't have a name. Names are for corporations and businesses. Objects and things, it's a noun. A name is a noun, starts with a capital letter. The officers will then ask you for your date of birth, or your person's date of birth, okay? Because man's date of birth is hearsay. For your date of birth and the date you were born are separate, okay? Your birthday is your person, legal, fiction, estate, instrument, conveyance. So we'll go deeper into that later on about births and registration and certificates and etc. And that's the basic premise, all right? The birth date belongs to the person. Man's birth date is 1978. It's May. That'll do. You know, I don't remember the day. I was 1 day old. Don't be a fool. We are legal idiots and not fools. We will now present our person, legal, fiction, estate, instrument or conveyance using such instruments, identities as birth certificate, driving license, passport, etc. And here you can see some examples of, come on, Conehead. In the private, we are not obliged to answer any questions, but we are required under common law to assist with any genuine investigation. Do you hear me? Okay then, we will comply. Information is never submitted, it is presented upon request in accordance with the law and conforming to the original request without any public liability joinder to the person. Man is law, person is legal, much like oil and water, near the twain shall meet. So if you know who you are, then you command law as the man and the spirit and the consciousness and the soul. If you don't know who you are, you will be the victim of legal, because you will claim the title as Mr., Mrs., Ms., public liability. Man is law, person is, yeah, we've got that. This is also known as joinder to the person, where they are trying to subjugate you into subrogation. We don't carry identification for the private man, only for our legal fiction. So in presenting one's birth certificate or driver's license or passport, we have presented our person and driver. At this point, we have to explain to the officer we do not accept the full public liabilities. We abide by equitable means, and our status is private, known as indigenous, self-initiate, self-governing, man of England and Wales, sovereign, if you like, in the capacity of, if you know yourself. As such, man does not reside in the United Kingdom. Our persons do, as do the police, government, citizens, employees, etc. We would then ask if we are going to be detained or arrested and for what reason. We are happy to lawfully comply with the request to help the inquiry, but we will not accept any public liabilities or the benefits thereof associated with that public liability. By agreeing to be the person at this point would be futile. We do not choose to don the mask or the persona. Yes, Zelda Majora's Mask, we leave it alone. The officer will now understand that you stand in the private and at law, and that you have presented your public person that you are the master of. The officer is permitted to run the checks, inquiries as soon as practicably possible. Any unnecessary delay or detention, arrest, will incur a fee schedule comprised of a unilateral agreement. The UK officers, that's for forcing you out of the public and into the private, okay? That's coming later via the .com downloads. The UK officers do not know the difference between man, person, private and public. It would be easy to argue. I would say, some might say. It is left to the suspect to clarify the status, standing, capacity and character. You have, complied with all legal requests lawfully. Plausible deniability is what we would argue, is they say. As you, the suspect, are innocent, you are now asked if you are free to go. You haven't committed any crimes around the area of which they are investigating. It's your wish and your requirement to be on your way about your business without hindrance. The officer should either acquiesce and let you go, or arrest you and detain you. The end. Look at that. Thank you, Steve. Beautiful. The end. SPLspro.com 2019. Thank you. Ta-da! Jazz hands. Come on then. Help me. See you Sunday. Test over. I need help. Much love to your scribes.